Welcome into another edition of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, brought to you by the SBFFC, the Southern Bluegrass Fantasy Football Championship, right here on the TN2M show of networks, that YouTube channel. We especially thank them for allowing us to talk a little fantasy football. I'm Seth Burchett, one of your hosts, joined alongside Chuck Ellis and the good Dr. Brian Harwood, the founder and commissioner of the SBFFC. Guys, how's it going tonight?
Good. How are you this evening, buddy?
I am too blessed to be stressed right now, and I'm getting to talk fantasy football. And coming off of a fun weekend of SBFFC, I cannot complain.
Well, Dr. Harwood here. You said too blessed to be stressed. That was a line from Matt Overton back at Schaefer Middle School. Every morning I would check in with Coach Overton and Blake Holder. I'd get there about 6:50 in the morning. I'd text both of them old boys and I said, "What's up, guys?" And Blake was about half awake, and Coach Overton was always too blessed to be stressed. And Dr. Harwood's too cold to be bold, and let your liver quiver because Dr. Harwood's going to bring you the good medicine tonight. I've got my co-conspirator of the SBFFC this evening, a legend of fantasy football himself, Mr. Matt Cranston, going to be with us. He's here in the room now. We are podcasting live from the Derby City Gaming Hall in Louisville, Kentucky on Poplar Avenue. We've got a suite. We've got a comp room. One of our sponsors, Derby City Gaming, and the Tennessee Titans just scored a touchdown. Touchdown! Titans!
Harwood's already having fun tonight. We've got a special guest tonight. Matt Krantz is going to join us, member of the SBFFC and of this draft that's going to be taking place tonight, along with the gentleman I'm going to bring in now, Mr. Brian Anderson, who was in Bowling Green last weekend for the SBFFC and part of the draft tonight. And Brian, welcome in. Appreciate you joining us tonight.
Good evening, fellas. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
So one of the things that we're doing tonight, guys, is Chuck's Fantasy Football Superflex League, one of four leagues. It's been around 20 years, and picks are already coming in hot and heavy. But Chuck, tell us a little bit about this draft. Give a little bit of background if you can, and what people can expect watching this live draft tonight.
Well, this draft started in 2002, and we started with 10 teams. Now we're up to 40. So we basically separated it into 4 10-team drafts. And since this is a super flex, it's going right per queue right now. You got quarterbacks going early. Now you got a couple guys jumping on some positional players.
Yeah, and no surprise to me in a super flex, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow going high, and then Robinson and Gibbs with the number 5 pick. So we'll continue to update these picks and talk about this draft. It's a 10-team league, but I want to talk a little bit about the SBFFC last weekend, and all of us were there. Had a great time. It was a fantastic event, as always. And, as someone who's been in the league for every year, it's been in existence 16 years now, I've got to tell you, it's one of the best ones that I think that we've ever had, and really proud of what it has become and to be able to be part of it from the beginning. But let's hear from a couple of different perspectives, because I've been there from the beginning. Chuck, Brian, you have not. Brian, how long have you been in the SBFFC, and what did you think about last weekend?
Well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Chuck and I went together the first year that we went. That was 2019.
Mm-hmm.
We both went 2019, 2020. I got a little spooked after the pandemic and stopped flying so much, and did the online division after that because I'm down here in Tampa. Getting up there isn't just a hop, skip, and a jump and away. But so I took a break and did the online division for a while, and I came back this year. And man, it is. I like that it's back at nicely again. I do prefer nicely. There's lots of room there, and it's a show, man. It's something to see. You wouldn't expect it to be in a little hole in the wall in Kentucky, a big old draft like this, biggest thing on this side of Mississippi. But it's a show, man, and it's a good time for everybody.
Chuck, your thoughts on the? I hope that's not true. We'll get to that here in just a second. I'm reading comments right now, but enjoy yourself as usual this year.
Oh my God, yeah. It's a spectacle for myself, my wife, and the Rannikers, which everybody's starting to get to know down there. I've been bringing them along now since 2022, I believe. So we make a trip out of it. We leave Maryland early Thursday morning for a Friday morning arrival in Bowling Green, and it's we enjoy it. We really look forward to this trip every year. Dr. Harwood puts on one of the best demonstrations of a draft I've ever been around. There's nothing like it. I draft in the FFPC as well, and I still prefer his draft over it. I love it. I'm looking forward to next year already.
Yeah, I'm always looking forward to next year. However, I am hoping that this is not true, and that I'm efforting information. But Philly Mike, he says CeeDee Lamb played 6 snaps tonight, went to the locker room. X-rays revealed a torn meniscus. This has ended his season with surgery to come this week. I haven't seen that anywhere. I hope that's not true because that was my first round pick in the main event. But I have not seen that yet coming across the wire. So as soon as I get something to confirm that, we'll talk about that. Oh, he's trolling. Well, I hope so, because I took him in the first round, and I started to look like I went straight to Twitter or X or whatever it's called now. But there was a piece of news today, and I'll bring you guys in on this. And Wraith asks, is B-Rob a good fit for the 49ers? Dr. Harwood.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I think Washington's going all in with Bill Krosky-Merritt, Jacoby Krosky-Merritt. And I want to talk about my SBFFC experience here in a minute whenever you want me to, because I've got –
go for it. You're the man. It's your show, my friend.
Well, let me say this first. So B. Robinson, Brian Robinson, Washington didn't want him. So now that's going to parlay in the Jacoby – Bill Krosky-Merritt being the starting running back in Washington. I drafted him last week in the 11th round of the Woo Fantasy Live Draft because I basically went 0 running back. I mean, because I went Burrow and Chase. I did a lot of drafting. I did this a lot different because the Woo Fantasy Live Draft, it's always a wild draft for me to begin with anyway. And I started off with Jamar Chase, and I went with Joe Burrow in round number 4. So, and I got Kenneth Walker in round 3. My best running back coming out of this may be Krosky-Merritt, but now going to Brian Robinson. Christian McCaffrey has been hurt several years in a row. Brian Robinson may take that backup role, but his draft stock is going down. I have 0 shares of Brian Robinson up to this point. 0. And
he was a guy that some people drafted with the intent of playing him week to week, especially people that, as you mentioned, kind of went with more of that 0 running back strategy. He was a guy that would get targeted 8th, 9th round, and it was a guy that people wanted to play. And now, if you were somebody that went that strategy and you didn't get Krosky-Merritt, you might have a hole at the running back position.
Well, see, my running backs in that league, Kenneth Walker, 3rd round. Didn't get another running back until I got Quashad Junkins. Didn't have a share in him. I wanted to go different. 210, round 10. Brandon Murchison, who fantasy likes him. Then went Krosky-Merritt round 11. You're not going to see Krosky-Merritt go round 11 again. He's going to be in the top 4 or 5 rounds now.
Yep.
Brian Robinson, he's going to be an afterthought with McCaffrey. The only reason I would draft Brian Robinson is if I was a McCaffrey owner.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Chuck, I know you are a Commander fan. I mean, is it the Krosky Merritt show now? And does Austin Eckler, does that change anything for him?
Well, that's the one that's interesting to me is Austin Eckler. He's played very sparingly in preseason. And Coach came out yesterday and said that Rodriguez is going to be his short yardage guy. So I'm anxious to see who actually starts the first game for Washington. Just a little snicker in the back of my mind thinks that Austin Eckler might get the start, but I believe before it's all said and done that Mr. Bill Merritt is going to be running the show up here because Cliff Kingsbury really likes this kid.
Brian, as another resident Commanders fan, your thoughts on the trade and what that means for the backfield there in Washington?
Well, I don't really think it means too much for the backfield in Washington, simply because it seemed like the coaching staff, they weren't really sold on him to begin with. He never really found a way to prove himself in Washington. They always wanted to go to Eckler or even the new flavor of the year, whoever the rookie was that they drafted after him. He never really sold himself. And as far as his role in San Francisco goes, all he is, in my opinion, he's just going to be a vulture. He's going to take some goal line carries because he's a big body that can take some pounding down at the goal line and save some hits on CMC, make his longevity go for the season a little longer. I don't see a whole lot of fantasy value with Brian Robinson anymore.
Brian Robinson, to me, always felt like vanilla ice cream. Like, he's not going to wow you. He's not anything special, but he's fine. Like, if you want ice cream, like, you can have vanilla ice cream. It's okay, but it's not anything spectacular. That's always, to me, kind of been what Brian Robinson was in Washington. Like, he was never a guy that he wasn't a fun name. He wasn't anybody that got people, talking necessarily, but he was a guy that just kind of quietly put up decent numbers, and he was just okay.
He was an Alabama running back. That's what he was.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
Straight north and south. He runs north and south. He doesn't fit the wide zone gap blocking system, and he just never quite fit in Cliff Kingsbury's offense.
Let me recap some of these picks. We're in the third round now of this draft. I'm glad I could get the whole draft board because last time we did a draft, I was having some trouble with that. So we pick up, we've got Jane Daniels, Jamar Chase, Jalen Hurts going. Then we start getting into Barkley, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. Only one team so far has taken two quarterbacks. Does that surprise anybody early on in a flex? Because, I know that I'm a novice at Superflex. I don't play a lot of Superflex. But every Superflex draft I've been in, it seems like quarterbacks go early and often, and a lot of times in the first 2 to 3 picks, most teams have a couple of them. Does that surprise anybody so far?
No, because it feels different this year. There's something different in the air with Superflex. I went to a Scott Fishbowl draft live in DC a few weeks ago, and it's a 2-quarterback league, and I had the 9th pick. And I leave that draft at the 9th pick with Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts.
Oh, wow.
There's people are fading the quarterbacks early in Superflex drafts and snatching them up in the middle rounds lately.
Does Dr. Harwood, do you think that says more about the depth at quarterback or that there's just a shift in trends?
There is a depth at quarterback this year with potential because there's a lot of people. Last year, Mahomes didn't have 16 great games. There were some games that Pat Mahomes stunk. Jaden Daniels was a rookie. He was shot out of a cannon and had some awesome games. You've got the next group of quarterbacks like the J.J. McCarthy, like the Brock Purdy, like the Justin Herbert, even a Cam Lord, even a Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love. I mean, if a guy wanted in a super flex to gamble with that second quarterback, it's going to be a fun gamble because you're getting a guy with a lot of Drake May even. You're going to get a guy with a lot of potential, and it's going to be fun going down, down the list because 2 years ago, I won this league on the live draft. So what I did, I drafted a quarterback early. Then I got some depth running back, wide receiver. Then came back with quarterback number 2, number 3, and they hit. You've got to hit. The quarterbacks have to hit. They've got to stay healthy.
Well, our friend Steven has joined us in the chat tonight, and he says he's only focused on the top 4, and if none of those are available, he's going top receiver and running back, and that seems to be the strategy in this draft tonight. Quarterback's not as prevalent as I would have expected. Now, the other thing to keep note of, it's a 10-team league, not a 12-team, which is, I think, a lot of people are used to. But in a 10-team league, it is a little bit different. So I should have asked this question before we went on there, but I know Dr. Harwood is drafting a team tonight. Are the other 2 drafting a team tonight as well?
No, ours is we're in the live draft, which is
Gotcha.
next weekend. Yep. And then
Dr. Harwood, what pick are you?
We are pick number Legend and Dr. Harwood, and we are going to be up after this pick right now. Oh, we're up now.
You're up now.
We're going to mute this clock for 1 second. We're going to talk about the pick. I'll be right back in about 30 seconds.
Okay. So Dr. Harwood has muted himself so he can discuss in the war room. Brian, you are part of the live draft with Chuck. What is your strategy going into a super flex league like this? Is there a strategy, or is it play the board?
Well, Mike Tyson said everybody has a strategy till they get punched in the mouth.
That's right.
So it's real easy to say that I have a strategy going into a draft, and for the most part, I do. But 6 out of 10 times that strategy gets thrown out the window because the guy before you took the guy you were looking at, or the guy right after you took some guy too early that you were looking at next round. So fantasy drafting is so much about adaptability and making sure that you can adjust on the fly, not only to what your needs are on your roster, but seeing ahead in what other teams are going to probably be taking, so you can tell what you could put off for a round or 2 and what you have to take at the right time.
Yeah, I agree with that. Speaking from just the events this last weekend, I drafted early in all 3 of the leagues that I participated in, and particularly in situation where I was looking quarterback. If the teams that were behind me had already taken one, I'm going to take that position player that I was looking for, with the idea that, okay, they're probably not going to take this quarterback that I want, so I'm going to try to get this position player first and wait a while on that. Chuck, do you have a strategy going into these type of drafts? Is there anything that you look for? Are you a quarterback early guy, or as Brian says, just kind of play the board and adapt to what is given to you?
Well, for example, I was in the Superflex draft in SBFFC last weekend, and I had a strategy of picking right in the middle. And talking about not taking a quarterback, 3 of my first 4 picks were wide receivers in that draft. So my first 4 picks end up being Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, and Kyler Murray. I have the quarterbacks ranked this year. I have a group of 4, and we all know who that 4 is. So I like to pick around 6. If those 4 guys are gone, then I'm guaranteeing myself Bijan Robinson or Jamar Chase. And then I'll build my quarterback room after those 2 guys.
Yeah, I think that's something that has gotten me in the past, and not super flex leagues, but just drafting in general, where I nailed myself into, this is what I'm going to do in the first round, whether it's running back, receiver, or whatever I was looking at that particular year. And it's easy for your team and your draft to come unwound when you kind of pigeonhole yourself into a strategy like that. I'll give you a perfect example of that. Last year in the SBFFC, I'm drafting 9th, I think 10th. And I told myself, I'm going to take Jonathan Taylor in the first round. That's who I'm taking. Well, Justin Jefferson fell. I could have taken him, and I didn't. and my whole team just blew up after that. It was one of the worst years I've ever had at the SBFFC. And it's all because I didn't allow myself to be flexible when something like that happens. And I paid for it dearly, or rather, I made donations to the winners of the division last year.
Wow.
It's
So, Seth, you
I'm
said
still
you don't
kicking
have,
myself for that one.
you said you don't have a ton of experience with Superflex.
I don't. I've been to Scott Fishbowl a couple of. I'm in it this year, and I've already had my draft, but I haven't done a bunch of it now.
I would say that the biggest mistake that people make in a Superflex is overreaching for that quarterback, and you panic. People start to see quarterbacks go off the board. You hit that panic button. All of a sudden, in the first round, you've drafted Jared Goff.
Right.
Is that really what you want out of your first round pick? Even in Superflex, that's not what you want.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely not.
I was in the Superflex. I was in Division 4 down in Kentucky, and quarterbacks flew off the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First 5 picks. Then 2 more before it got to me, and Bo Nix was the last quarterback taken before it was my pick in the first round. I would have just been reaching for a Justin Herbert. So I went Saquon Barkley, Justin Jefferson.
That's much smarter, because I might have panicked in that case. I would have had to talk myself off the ledge.
I didn't take a quarterback in that until the 4th round. I got Drake London on the way back, and then Jordan Love. Jordan Love's my starting quarterback. I don't have a problem with that.
Well, especially not when you're stacked with Barkley. Yeah, I mean that's an awesome start to any draft.
If those quarterbacks go, you have to hit those skill positions right.
Yep. Yeah, I want to look at old Soul Fingers right here with the first pick. He's in taking Brock Bowers and Trey McBride in the first 5 rounds.
Well, so, that brings up an interesting question in the chat. Joe asked if it's a tight end premium.
It is.
That
is a tight
that
end.
would make sense then.
Yes, sir.
Why he might have went that direction.
I would, even without the premium, I would say that Brock Bowers and Trey McBride are worth being a number 1 wideout in this league.
Yep.
I knew it was tight end premium, dude.
I don't know that Joe knows, but you can start multiple tight ends. It's a tight end wide receiver slot for 3 slots. So you can draft 4 tight ends and start 3 of them if you want.
Going to recap some of these picks here. We're in the 6th round of this draft. Looking at the 4th round, we've kind of covered the top or the first 3 rounds. You've got I'm figuring out this isn't 3rd round or first, so I have to orient myself correctly. Baker Mayfield, you've got Kyron Williams, Jared Goff, T. Higgins coming off the board, a lot of running backs, and quarterbacks are starting to come off the board a little more frequently here in the 5th and 6th round. Seems like, and just speaking from inexperience, but this feels like kind of where the value is for these guys in a super flex league around the 5th, 6th round. Chuck, am I in the ballpark there?
That's what it seems to be this year. The dynamics of super flex has definitely shifted a little bit. Like Dr. Harwood said, the depth at quarterback is extreme this year. You can get 19 deep and still have a solid quarterback. So I'm enjoying watching this. This is good stuff.
Well, and that's been that was my strategy, I think, going into the SBFFC events, especially the main event last weekend. I took a quarterback higher in our Friday night draft because I picked 2 and I got Jamar Chase. And so I stacked him with Joe Burrow.
Nice.
The only reason I took a quarterback that high was because of that. I took him in the 4th. But, in the other leagues, I just thought I can build depth and really help myself out by waiting on a quarterback. And in the main event, I took Dak Prescott, partly because I had CeeDee Lamb, but I'm completely comfortable with that. I'm not upset about that. I think Dak's going to be fine this year. And I got him in like I don't know, around 9 or something. So I built a lot of depth leading up to that, and I think this year fantasy, because of that depth at quarterback, you can wait on a guy like that. I even think tight end depth is a little bit better than it has been in recent memory, especially with some of these rookies that are getting a lot of attention, like Tyler Warren, like Colston Loveland. I like the kid from Seattle quite a bit as well, Arroyo. So I think even tight end this year is a little bit deeper than it has been in years.
Arroyo is my sleeper. I'm big on him late in just about every draft.
Yeah.
I in the Superflex last week. It was Buck Wild. Seth, next year we got to get you in the Superflex, and we drafted 9 o'clock.
Listen, I'm just telling you, I like being married, and I might not be if you get me in that.
Okay, I'll give Amanda another. I'll give Amanda another barbecue gift card from the barbecue place out there in Russellville. That's all I'm going to
do. We'll talk. We'll talk closer to time.
I think you will be Chuck, back me up. I think Seth will be very, very good at this Superflex draft. We were out of the building by 11 o'clock. We were out of the building at 11.
Seth will be great at this, and if you want, Seth, I'll be your partner. We can be the bookends.
It's just a small mind shift.
Where's that leave, Chris?
This might work. I'm going to show a few comments that have come in. ADU, thank you. I appreciate that. I thought it was a nice stack as well. I'm hoping that it pays off for me. Steven pops in and he said he went said the quarterbacks he wanted were gone, so he went CeeDee Lamb, Derrick Henry, Chase Brown, and Mike Evans before he took Justin Herbert. I like that depth with those positional players for sure.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Well, Steve Raniker is a money winner, these Superflexes, and said you're going to like it because you get in the division next year, you win money in your division, you get the draft of the other 11 top money winners the next season. It's a relegation draft. So that's
I got you.
And I can move the high stakes draft to 9 o'clock in the morning Saturday. If it's a man that wants you to get some sleep, we can move that high stakes draft back to 9 o'clock.
Well, it's that and getting me home because I enjoy myself on Friday nights. I'm just going to leave it at that. But right now, guys, we're going to take a quick break because we have to hear a word from our sponsor, Trophy Smack. Special thanks to Trophy Smack. Get your belts, your trophies, all of that, those prizes that everybody wants at TrophySmack.com. Special thanks to them for sponsoring the show. And yeah, so Superflex Friday night, we'll talk closer to time. We might have to be Ubering me home or something. I don't know. We'll figure out.
Matter of fact, next year we're going to have Lear jets and limousines.
Woo!
We're going to have Lear jets and limousines. We're going to make sure everybody gets home safe because Nicole Taylor, the WK dance team coach, has a horse whip, and she cracked that whip and said, Harwood, I want my girls out of here at 11 o'clock.
And you got them out of there.
So when can I introduce the man to come in the show?
It is your show, man. You bring him on whenever you like.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to make a draft pick. We're going to be up here in just a second, and then we'll bring him on. Just give me about 2 minutes.
You should bring him on to announce the pick, live and living color.
Ladies and gentlemen, the living legend of fantasy football, the SBFFC co-conspirator, the official vice president of the SBFFC, who I have been in fantasy since 1995, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Living legend, Mr. Matt Krantz. Woo!
I want to
having some fun tonight.
Say, this man stole my lunch money when I was age 14.
It was stole. You gave it.
I was 14 years old.
Giving and stealing.
14 years old at Greenwood High School.
You were 15.
In Bowling Green, Kentucky.
You two remind me of the Odd Couple from way back in the day.
I gave up my lunch money for fantasy football.
That's so
how we do this.
And we fed you money. We fed you good for ever since. Man, we're on the clock. Let's see who's going to pick.
I think tight end premium got to go Kelsey, man. Kelsey is gonna have a bounce back year. It's a tight end premium league. Read the scoring. It's 1.5.
Or do you want
1.5 catches for a tight end?
Or do you want to go TJ Hawkinson and get more potential? But I'm fine with either one. Hawkinson or Kelsey?
I want to make an executive decision.
Go ahead.
On the clock.
We don't have Kelsey a lot. Shit.
And we're going to take Travis Kelsey. and Taylor Swift. Tay. My daughter's name's Taylor. So that's right. All right. Well,
there you go.
Guys, I just want to say I appreciate you guys doing this podcast. Such a pleasure, man. It's really nice to have a voice on what we do. We've been doing this a long time. So I really appreciate you guys, Seth and Chuck and Brian, for being here.
Right.
Thank you.
You have told me Brian 10 years.
I'm Brian Anderson.
Oh, Brian Anderson. Excuse me.
The other Brian in the room.
Okay, I got you.
I just want to say that SBFFC has just continued to grow. We continue to evolve. We're always working behind the scenes. I mean, you guys see the event. It's really good, right?
Yep.
It's
amazing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work behind the scenes. There's a lot of organization. We continue to take feedback. I just want to say, everyone out there, if you have feedback, please consult me at mdk518@yahoo.com. Please tell me, please tell Dr. Harwood what you want better. We're always wanting to make sure that we serve our customers right. And this is the best draft, the best live league, West, East, whatever, on the Mississippi River. We've got it. And we will continue to serve who we want to serve, which is all you guys listening. We do it for you. This is such a great sport. I've met so many people like Chuck. Would I meet Chuck if I didn't play fantasy football? No. Hell no. Would not meet
No.
Chuck.
I wouldn't even know you.
When I meet Brian Anderson yelling out bids this past Saturday.
France and I drafted together this weekend.
Yes. When I meet him, no. I've met so many great people, just countless people thanking me. And I just want to say that we do it for you guys. So from my heart to all you guys, do such a great job. Thank the man who's done it and put this together. I will always be grateful for him. Dr. Harwood is a man. You guys do what you do. Thank you. That's all I have to say. Appreciate you, Harwood.
Well,
woo!
You know what I'm going to do?
I feel like I need to vote for Matt now. That feels like a political piece. We appreciate the constituents and this great country of fantasy football, and we work hard to serve you. Please vote for me.
Matt Krantz has talked to the magistrate Tom Lawrence, district management of Morgantown Road and Delta area of Bowling Green, Kentucky, like Morgantown Road and Warren Central and all that, Hampton Park. Tom Lawrence he talks about constituents, and he has his own Tom Lawrence division, the SBFFC. That division,
he does. I was in it for a few years.
8 co-owners in that division. You know why? Because they all want to see the SBFFC work. And there's a couple owners that was saying Dr. Harwood can't control a classroom of 7 students, but he can control 380 SBFFC owners and guests and co-owners and workers and dance team members. What does that say?
I think that says you've built one of the most successful drafts in the country, is what I think that says.
And I would agree with that. Captain Andy Morgan, Captain, I am so glad that he was with the MC license. I think Andy Morgan was awesome. I thought
he did great.
Because I had Andy Morgan. I said, Andy, I want you to walk around. I want you to kind of see where these owners have been taken. And then I said, we're going to take a break based on where the owners are at versus the previous MC that was there last year.
He did a great job. Seth, Andy, Captain Morgan did a great job, man. He rocked him up. Did he, Harwood?
That's exactly right.
I thought he did fantastic.
Captain Morgan was saying he just marked it. I have hired him for SBFFC MC 2026. He says he's really pulled off an incredible passion product, and he couldn't bring any less but my best for the SBFFC. He is stoked for next year. And the main difference between Captain Andy Morgan and last year's SBFFC MC, all the SBFFC MC last year did was, does this dress make me look big? That was her main worry.
Well, I was the captain who I worked with in radio. He's a radio DJ.
He started on the SBFFC show. He was the producer behind
He was.
the scenes.
Yeah, he was. And we had been talking about an MC, and I thought he'd do a great job. He came and hung out with me for a little bit at my division, and that was the cool thing about him. Is he had the roaming mic or the cordless mic, and he was just walking around talking to people, shouting out, what's happening at every different boards. And I thought that was a fun touch to it that we've not had before. Did Harwood mute his mic? Are you?
Yeah,
Harwood?
He's currently on the he was currently on the clock.
Oh,
so,
okay.
We were discussing strategy.
So we got the 10 pick over here. Wants a little
Calvin Ridley
draft so far.
Sorry, guys. The actual draft we're doing tonight, we selected wide receiver Calvin Ridley.
Oh my goodness!
There's a Titans fan there. Actually, there's two of them there.
Season ticket holder.
Listen, I looking at some of the picks that have just come off the board. Mike Evans, DeAndre Swift, Travion Henderson, Kelsey, Laporta, Jordan Love. I mean, we're getting into people taking their second quarterback. A lot of teams, although the pick that just came off the board, first quarterback for this team, J.J. McCarthy, who I like a lot this year. I think McCarthy has the opportunity to put up some pretty big numbers, especially after he gets Jordan Addison back. I mean, he's got one of the best receivers in the NFL in Justin Jefferson, and Addison on a lot of weeks, as long as he comes in and he is in shape, has potential to be a wide receiver one on any given week. So when you give a rookie quarterback, and I mean, essentially that's what he is, you're looking at a guy that can put up some pretty good numbers. And I kind of like that pick there.
Yeah, Harwood brought me in to discuss J.J. McCarthy, so I'm going to discuss it.
We've got some shares of him.
He is – I'm not saying he's going to put up what J.J. or Jaden Daniels did, but I'm telling you, McCarthy, that Kevin O'Connell offense, that Minnesota Vikings has the best offensive line in the NFL. They've got Justin Jefferson. Addison, yeah, he's suspended. And they're getting ready to get Adam Thielen. They're going to bring him back in.
I did see they had talked about him.
Yeah, Minnesota's going to be a Super Bowl contender because it does not take much for defenses to be off balance with a guy, J.J. McCarthy, who's won at Michigan. He knows how to win. He has looked really well. We got Lucky Jackson, wide receiver from WKU, at number 5 on the depth chart, who's making progress, look good at training camp.
Naylor's
injured.
He
is set up. Naylor's injured. He's out. Addis suspended the first 3 games. But J.J. McCarthy is set up to do very, very, very well. Now, is he going to be Jaden Daniels? Probably not. Can he be half of that? We'll take it in the fantasy football community. If you just give us something as a second or third quarterback, then we're good. That's all we want. I think he's got a really good setup. So I'm really high on what he can bring.
Let's do a round of either or here, guys, because there's a guy that I think is going to take a huge step. And I think he's comparable to J.J. McCarthy in terms of where he's being drafted this year. It's kind of, I guess, more would you rather, J.J. McCarthy or Drake May? Brian, let's start with you.
Oh, J.J. I mean, just based on weapons, it's got to be J.J. McCarthy. I mean, you've got Justin Jefferson there. That really takes the cake by itself. And then a receiving back like Aaron Jones. There's just too many weapons for it to not be J.J.
Chuck.
This one's tougher than it sounds. You have the unexpected with J.J. McCarthy, and you've seen Drake May put up solid numbers last year in New England with nothing.
Just got drafted.
And You know,
I love
he had,
those two for that team, by the way.
I completely agree, and it speaks to the depth of quarterbacks that you get these two guys in the super flex rounds 8 and 9. But if you're backing me up in a corner, right now I probably would have to lean with Drake May, only because he has that year of playing, and now he's got Stephon Diggs with him. But it's tough. Both of
Harwood.
those guys are good.
Harwood. Drake
Harwood's on the
May.
clock.
Oh yeah, he's muted now. I love them both. I think I would go Drake May, but only because the league that I did draft JJ McCarthy, I kind of had my eye on May, and he got taken a couple picks before, so I ended up going with McCarthy. That is my number 2 quarterback, but I like the ability to run the football from Drake May. He put up great numbers when he played the full games last year. I know one of those last games he didn't really play that much, and I don't know with JJ McCarthy how that knee is going to end up holding up, and so I think if I have to pick one of the two, I'm picking Drake May, but I would love to have both of them on a roster like that.
I think May sets a lower floor, but I think McCarthy has a higher ceiling. So if you want to reach for that, maybe more potential points, then JJ McCarthy might be the way to go. If you want from the more like reliable, steady, 17 every week, maybe May's the way to go.
Well, I think either way, I think the quarterback, as we've already kind of discussed, quarterback's as deep as it's been in a very long time. So it looks like the good doctor and Mr. Matt Krantz went with Devonta Smith with their latest pick, and building out a very balanced roster, gentlemen.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I won this league 2 years ago. Me and Matt have won money every season we've done this league. It's a league that fits our strength because we have sleepers and they tend to fall to us. Now, McCarthy versus May, they're getting drafted very, very similar in drafts. Personally, they don't play defense in the NFC North. Packers, Vikings, Detroit, Chicago, there's going to be a lot more shootouts in that division. There's going to be a lot more over-unders hit for points scored and stats. You're going over with the New England Patriots. You've got Miami and New York Jets and Buffalo Bills. Now, Buffalo Bills can play a lot better offense with Josh Allen going back and forth. You're just going to have a lot more shootouts with McCarthy at quarterback, but Drake may have more self-control. But with McCarthy, you've got J.J. Jefferson, you've got Addison, you've got Hopkins, you've got more proven weapons. I think this year, as the New England Patriots will step forward, we're going to have wide receivers that we don't know a lot about. That's going to be fantasy good free agents to pick from. And I'm going to name, if I get J.J. McCarthy and Justin Jefferson draft, I'm going to name my team name Double J. Jeff Jarrett, are you listening?
I think that's something that the SBFFC needs is like a celebrity owner. And I think Jeff Jarrett would be the perfect guy because he's not far. He's only about an hour away. He loves football. He loves fantasy football. I think that's the perfect guy to get is old Double J to come in and be a celebrity owner in the draft.
That would be great. That would be awesome.
He'd be running around. Not only would it be great, he'd run around screaming, "Ain't I great?" We're going to pause here just for a minute to hear again from our sponsor, Trophy Smack, here on the SBFFC Fantasy Football Power Hour on the TN2M Show of Networks on YouTube. Again, thanks to Trophy Smack for sponsoring the show. Check them out at trophysmack.com. Get your belts, get your trophies, everything that you need to celebrate the winner of your league at trophysmack.com. And they're great too. Speaking of great, Trophy Smack is great. Saw a bunch of those belts at the and I think a helmet too, which I was enamored by. I don't know why, but I loved that helmet. But Trophy Smack is definitely a supporter of the SBFFC. Taking a look at some of the picks now. More quarterbacks coming off the board.
Okay.
Cam Ward, Trevor Lawrence, C.J. Stroud off the board. Looks like, was that Jamison Williams that you all just took, Doc?
Yes, Jamison Williams is one of my top sleepers this year. We have built a good, deep wide receiver class here with Thomas, Pickens, Ridley, Smith, Williams. We're going to have what we may beat ourselves by picking the wrong guy to start him.
Dr. Harwood, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Who won this league last year? I didn't know. I was just asking.
Won this particular league? I know I won it 2 years ago, Chuck. We made the playoffs last year. We won the money.
But I won it last year.
Mr. Joe, we've got some experience in this group.
I just got a text that said I won this league last year. So I couldn't let it go.
Oh, my goodness.
We're looking at more quarterbacks coming off the board. C.J. Stroud, Jamison Williams, not quarterback, but the last few picks, Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice may be one of the most interesting picks of any draft because we don't really know what's going on. A lot of people are starting to speculate that because his hearings have been moved back, he's probably going to serve his suspension next year. Do you want any part of that offense, guys? Chuck, do you want Rashee Rice or Xavier Worthy? With that uncertainty, in Kansas City, even though they're one of the best teams in the NFL, do you want a piece of that offense? And if so, where are you leaning?
Yeah, it's with Rashee Rice, it's tough, but if you're getting him at the right pick, maybe he's worth a flyer. Even if he does do some suspension, you might get him back for a late season run. The fear is you don't know how long the suspension is going to be. His hearing keeps getting pushed back. So let's assume he does play 3 or 4 games and then gets suspended for 6 games. And then you have a bye week 10. He's basically gone for the entire regular season of fantasy. So if I had to take somebody from that team, it would probably be Worthy.
Yeah, I agree. I think Worthy is because even when Rice is there, Worthy still has value. Yeah. I also like Travis Kelce if we're talking outside of receiver there, Pacheco as well. But in terms of that receiving core, I think I would rather have Worthy just because there's not a lot of uncertainty where Worthy is concerned. I think with Rashee Rice, you're not sure. Is he going to play this year? Is he not? Is he suspended this year? Is he going to serve that suspension next year? You just don't know. And you're, at least in the leagues that I witnessed last weekend, there's a lot of high draft capital that's going towards Rashee Rice. And to me, that's too much uncertainty. Just give me Worthy in that same area, and I've got a guy at least I know is going to play all season.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Looking at some of the picks coming off the board now, Jordan Mason. Okay, so I want to talk Jordan Mason because I think he's the most polarizing player in drafts right now because depending on a lot of people love him. A lot of people think he's going to take that job from Aaron Jones. I'm not sold on that. I think he's going to play, but I think Aaron Jones still has a lot of tread left on those tires, and I'm just not willing to – I'm not willing to retire him yet, which it feels like a lot of people are doing at this point. Brian, what are your thoughts on Jordan Mason? I know you had mentioned Aaron Jones earlier, but what do you think about him? Do you think Jordan Mason is getting drafted too high? Or are we putting too much stock in him? Or are we not giving Aaron Jones enough credit? Where do you stand on that?
It's so hard to tell on running backs. I'm big on Aaron Jones simply because he's versatile. He's a 3-down back. He can catch out of the backfield. He can block on the rush. He can do anything that you need him to do. And Jordan Mason isn't necessarily that back, but he's definitely that back that you want that that can be that hot flash in the pan that can, that he can strike for you. So it's tough. Personally, I would rather go with Aaron Jones. I see value in Jordan Mason, but I personally think that there's a little bit people are putting a little bit too much value into Jordan Mason.
See, I kind of fall into that same category. I like him. I might, if I was an Aaron Jones owner, I would definitely target him. But I don't know that I'm drafting him thinking he's, if I'm a zero running back strategy guy or I'd went that strategy in a draft, I don't know that if he's somebody that I'm drafting that I'm going to be able to depend on week in and week out, simply because there is a proven commodity in front of him. Dr. Harwood, your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to bring the living legend of fantasy football here in a second with his views on Jones and Mason. However, I'm a guy that has running back potential, and I've got youth. Last year, I worked with Coach Matt Overton at Gallatin, Schaefer Middle School, had some Schaefer Sunrise with him. Matt Overton coached Jordan Mason at Gallatin High School.
We just got sniped.
He knows that Jordan Mason got some good potential. Overton coached him and brought him along. Younger guy. Aaron Jones, me and Matt Krantz have drafted him. We've lost money on props. We've lost money on over-unders. He hasn't got as very many yards. He does get the touchdowns. I just want a young Mason. Now, Matt Krantz, he's smarter than all of us at SBFFC. How did you handle the Mason and Aaron Jones situation?
We just got sniped on Zach Charbonnet, which puts me in a bad mood. But anyway, back to Brian Anderson was there with me. He was in the same division as me.
You
put up Aaron Jones in round. I did not feel good about it in round 6, but then I came back and took Jordan Mason in round 8. So what you do as a strategy if you're a very smart fantasy football player, so you take both of them. So yes. Aaron Jones is very injury prone, but I think Jordan Mason could be the goal line back. What you got to believe in is the offensive coordinator. You got to look at who is good at scoring points. So in the NFL, Kevin O'Connell, Minnesota Vikings, is a very good head coach.
I agree.
They have a very good offensive line.
I agree.
So fantasy football players, what I'm telling you is what you got to do. Take both of them. Take Jones and Mason like I did in the SBFSC. Brian Anderson probably hates it, but I did it.
So, don't be scared to get the guys you want, because Coach Overton came to me. He wanted Jordan Mason. He thought he was going to be drafted later in the 8th round. I said, Coach Overton, we've been through 7 rounds. He will go in round 8, and Mason went in round 8. Jordan Mason went in round 6 in my division, but Aaron Jones went 5th. So there's a lot of credibility with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason.
Harwood, have you talked about SBFFC that we actually have an owner who coached Jordan Mason in middle school?
Coach Overton.
Have you talked about that?
Yes.
On this podcast? Okay.
Yes. Okay. Coach Matt Overton
has coached
him back in high school, Gallatin High School.
Did you said in your division that that Jordan Mason went in round 6 and Aaron Jones went in round 5? Is that right?
Yes. That is exactly
was it the same? Was it the same owner?
No, sir.
Okay. No. So round 6.
In my division staff, I took both. So I took Jones 6 and Mason 8. I took both.
I honestly stayed away from that backfield altogether unless I had to. Unless I had to pick one of those guys, I kind of stayed away from that backfield just simply because of the uncertainty there. But I tend to side with Brian. I like Aaron Jones more out of those two. I don't think there's anything wrong with Mason. I just think he's overhyped and overdrafted right now. I think he is somebody that I would probably take a few rounds later. Definitely not in round 6. In round 6, I'd rather have Tony Pollard. I mean, if we're talking about running backs I can get in round 6, give me Tony Pollard, because I know he's going to start. I know he's going to get the bulk of the workload there in Tennessee. And I think Tennessee's going to be a lot better this year. And he's proven he can do it on a bad Tennessee Titans team. I think he can do even more on a good Tennessee Titans team. And I don't know how good they're going to be, but they're going to be better for sure. Because listen, there's only one worse team in the NFL, and it's the Cleveland Browns. And that's it. I've lived that misery for 25 years.
Yeah, I got to think in that Minnesota backfield, you're going to see a true 50-50 split right down the middle. Aaron Jones is getting up there in age, and he's always injured going into the playoffs. So I think they're going to try to keep him a little bit more fresh going into the playoffs this year. So you could see a true 50-50 split up there.
Defense off the board.
First defense off the board. Round 12, Buffalo Bills. That tends to be one of the first defenses off the board in a lot of leagues. Either them or I saw a lot of the Broncos going earlier in the drafts this past weekend. And you talk about Kevin O'Connell and you talk about offensive geniuses. I think the team that makes the biggest jump and the team that, from a fantasy perspective, has made one of the biggest jumps is the Chicago Bears. I like a lot of Bears players this year, and I would not have said that last year or even a few years ago, but I think Caleb Williams has value this year. I like DeAndre Swift a lot. I love DJ Moore this year. I think there's a lot of value in Chicago right now for the first time in many years. Chuck, do you like the Bears, and do you like anybody off of their team?
I am at his ADP. I've been eating DeAndre Swift up all season. I've been getting him as a number 3, number 4 running back all year. I love him. I love the kid Luther Burden. I think he's going to be special. Roma Dunze. They're just stacked. If Caleb Williams can put it together up here, that team is stacked on offense. And
Dr. Harwood, I'll bring you in here. Your favorite rookie tight end this year.
Ooh, okay. Now I'm having like a Three Stooges fight over here. Me and Matt's arguing over Colston Loveland versus Jordan Warren. And Matt introduced me to Loveland a couple months ago in Del Hollow draft, but I like them both. I like Loveland and Warren but now Matt loves Tyler Warren better.
I think for me, with the announcement that Daniel Jones is going to be the quarterback, I'd go Warren. If I knew it were Anthony Richardson, I would say Colston Loveland, because I don't trust Anthony Richardson any further than he can, break his finger, because he's as fragile as glass.
Yeah, but now since Warren's gone, I mean, I'm thinking Warren and Loveland's taking 2 different places. If you've got a tight end PPR 1.5 points, I'd almost rather take one of them now and take a chance versus one of these wide receivers that you're throwing darts at and then possibly miss. Because wide receivers, there's a lot of gray area with a lot of the wide receivers ranked at this time.
Are you talking about this draft specifically?
I'm talking about every draft that I've done. It seems like Loveland and Warren have been taking similar spots. I'm loving 2 tight ends right now. So Matt Warren has been taken. So we're going to be up here in just a second. So
we're going to take another tight end, boys. Take 2.
One thing you guys are going to see with Warren is Warren runs plays out of the backfield. So he's going to be a bit of a Swiss Army knife with Indy.
Kind of like an H-back.
Yep.
Speaking of tight ends in this area, for a tight end premium league, maybe I'm just being a homer, but when you're getting late into rounds, David Njoku is worth a look. I mean, with Joe Flacco throwing him the football, he is a target machine. They love to get him the football. Kevin Stefanski's offense is designed to get the tight ends open. They run a lot of 12 personnel where they're running those double tight end sets, and they love to get Njoku the ball. And with Flacco, who is a capable passer, he's somebody to look at in a tight end premium league. Guys, we are coming up on the end of the show tonight.
Wait a second. Chuck, before you do that, you go. I'm going to tell my SBFFC experience here in a minute. I'm going to pull up Monday Nitro Audible. We're going to go a couple minutes past the top of the hour.
Okay.
You and Brandon go ahead. We're going to pretend like it's Monday Nitro. We're going to go a few minutes past the top of the hour. I'm going to talk about SBFFC experience here in just a minute.
Yeah, go for it.
First.
Well, I was just starting to put the bow on the show tonight.
No, we still got
I'm glad that we got to display another draft because some of the most views we get are we've only 4 episodes in now, but the most viewed show we've done was the live draft we did a couple of weeks ago. So live drafts get ratings, much like Monday Nitro got ratings. Dr. Harwood,
Okay.
your experience at the SBFFC this past weekend.
My experience at the SBFFC, and I'm speaking from the heart now. My presentation, I was about ready to break down crying because I had a lot of people that kept saying, "We love you, Harwood. You're doing an awesome job, Harwood. You're doing this and that and the other." I had a guy that came to me right before we started the presentation. He was like, and he drank about as much as you did, about as much as I did, as much as Krantz did. There was a guy that likes to drink and drinks a lot. He says, "Harwood, let's have a great draft together. I'm here for you. I love you. If you need anything at all, I'm here for you. We're going to make sure that we get out here nice and safe today." And I gave him a hug when I came out on stage. I gave the Honorable Tom Lawrence a hug when he came out on stage because Tom Lawrence believes in me. Tom Lawrence believes in my mother. My mother and Tom Lawrence are great friends. We do a lot of veterans work together. Tom Lawrence is an awesome class act guy. When I love being with these class act people. The SBFFC is the most united front fantasy football tournament of all time. These leagues in Vegas, yes, they pay more money. Yes, there's another. I'm not a competitor because my competitors in the SBFFC are wives and weddings. But we have the most camaraderie, and we have the most energy, and we have the most people that love each other and want to be around once a year. I had about 50 people say, "I love coming here once a year. I love seeing Seth Burchett. I love seeing Matt Krantz. I love seeing Brian Anderson. I love seeing Chuck S. I love seeing Christy. I love WKU dance team. And I love how everything works all together. Together is the SBFFC, what makes it work and what makes it grow." And we had 264 teams. And I would say, well, I've advertised the term for 264. I talked to Joe Bryan, footballguys.com. He came last week. And he sent an email from Football Guys himself. Sunday morning, Football Guys goes out to 100,000 users a year saying the Southern Bluegrass Fantasy Football Championship was the best live draft he's ever been at. And the sole choice, he was very impressed. And that day, I had 7 new guys email me about joining the SBFFC for 2026. The SBFFC is going to take place August 21st and 22nd, 2026 at the Nicely Conference Center. We just had that announced today, and Football Guys are going to be part of it. We have a lot of people that love helping. I couldn't do it without the Seth Burches. I couldn't do it without the Chuck Elses and Christy Elses. I couldn't do it without the Matt Cranston. All the good sponsors we have. Student Financial Services does the food trucks. Circus Sports, Carton Sherman does all the beer and the bourbon. Nice at conference there, make sure everything runs right. The WKU dance team tells me, "Harwood, go out and have fun. I've got this." That's what the SBFFC is all about. Everybody coming together. If there's differences between people, they put them all aside for the good of the cause. And we are the most closely knit fantasy football tournament of all time, and I will take that to my grave. And there is no power on God's green earth that's going to tell me otherwise.
Well, Harwood, we all love you, brother. And we all have a passion for the SBFFC because to me, it's not just fantasy football. It's the SBFFC. It's a whole other thing. And so for me, I've been there 16 years. I've made so many friends that I only see once a year, but I'm so happy when I do. And it's like no time has passed at all. And that's kind of the cool thing about it. And a big fan of it.
Last week was all blur because everything went so fast. It went so smooth.
He muted himself because they're on the clock. I am going to take an opportunity because I had forgotten about it until now. But being community and fantasy football's community, I have a humble ask of the fantasy football community and the SBFFC. I am a middle school football coach. I don't know how many people know that. I'm in a small district in a small community, and we're doing a fundraiser with a digital discount card. And I am asking anybody that is willing, able, or even if you just share it to help my my football team We get a large percentage of this comes directly to us, but it is a digital gift card that has about 750,000 discounts on it that you can use all over the country. And I have a link in the description on this video. If you are so inclined, if you just want to help a fellow fantasy football lover out and his team, but it gets my kids' gear, it gets my kids' shirts, shorts, any equipment that we need. It really does help us out. And I hate to ask because I am so humble myself and I hate asking for anything, but it's not for me really, it's for my kids, and I will fight for them until they're not my kids anymore, and they're always going to be my kids, whether they're playing under me or they're 40 years old. So I love what I do, and I'm very passionate about it, much as I am for fantasy football. The real football I love just as much, and I would fight for every kid that puts on a uniform and plays under me. So if you're so inclined, I would be incredibly grateful, and I know that my players would as well. Sorry, I almost got emotional. I just about got emotional there because I really do. I love what I do.
Help out the kids, guys.
Yes, sir.
I'm in. I'll donate, buddy.
I'm with it.
Well, the link is in the description. I put it there, and I asked everybody before I put it on there. I didn't just assume I could put it on, but I really do. Man, I've got a good group this year, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity to coach them. And anyways, I'm gonna shut up and start to wrap up the show before I start tearing up because I love every one of them.
Now, Seth, I want you to text me all this information. You might have already done it, but I'm going to send out text information to all my group members of the Friday night drafts and the main events, and I'll send an email to everybody starting Sunday morning. When I get back from Louisville, we're going to make a good campaign, and I'll start Schaefer Middle School. I donated some money to Schaefer Middle School football in the last 5 years. I'm going to transition that from Schaefer Middle School to a local Kentucky school now. So we're going to take care of you.
Well, I appreciate, like I said, about 70% of the sales come directly back to us, which is a pretty high percentage for a fundraiser. And so, and again, it's something, anybody can use across the country. It's a digital discount card. So anyways, wrapping it up tonight, guys, final thoughts. Brian, we'll start with you.
Final thoughts. Well, are we talking about the draft here? Because I'll tell you, there's a couple things that I saw.
Yeah, go for it.
I like, if you notice, the last pick, Born for Greatness here, in the 8th round, you see they take Tracy, and then in the 12th round, they take Scatterbo. Brilliant move. I love that move right there. I mean, you locked up a starting running back in the 8th round, basically. That's great. Another one that I'm big on is Cam Ward. I'm taking Cam Ward anywhere that I can. I think he's going to be this year's Bo Nix, maybe this year's Jaden Daniels. I'm big on Cam Ward.
Well, we certainly appreciate you joining us tonight, and the invitation is open anytime, brother. Mr. Matt Krantz, final thoughts tonight.
Just want to thank you guys for hosting me. It's been a privilege being on the show. You guys are doing a great job. I'm just so proud of this guy here doing what he did last weekend. This draft tonight has been really fun. It's a nice alternate to SBFFC. It's been really fun. So thank you guys for hosting me. I look forward to being on shows moving forward once the actual season starts.
Oh, yeah.
I love talking to you. Love seeing you, Seth, Chuck, Brian. Good luck in my division. Thank you, guys. Good night.
We got to defense. We're going to solo about that.
No.
Chuck, final thoughts tonight before we send it home.
First, I'd like to thank you guys for putting my league's draft up here when, the topic of the show is mostly the SBFFC. Speaking of that, to touch base on what Dr. Harwood said, there is nothing like that draft. It's intense. It's fun. There's no drama. It is a great time for anybody that wants to actually come to a live event that will actually blow your socks off. I highly recommend it. And the last thing, all of us on here have been playing for a very long time. Some of us 25 plus years. Some of the things I'm seeing from the newer generation, you know, sending ugly tweets to professional football players about their fantasy team. This is supposed to be fun. These guys it is their profession to play football. The NFL is a business. Fantasy football is to be fun. So don't take the fun out of it by not being smart. That's my final thought.
Yeah, I could not agree more with that. Just appreciate being on here and being able to host and use some of the talents I've gotten in other worlds and put it to good use.
We could pick Greg Davis.
But as Harwood's getting ready to make his pick, just appreciate all you guys. I appreciate Dr. Harwood. And as I said before, Doc, we love you. We appreciate this. It's a great league. And if you haven't experienced it, I mean, next year, put it on the calendar, August 21st and 22nd. I think I said that right. You put it on the calendar, try to make it to Bowling Green and the Nicely Center there. Dr. Harwood, final word is yours tonight before we leave.
Well, I'll tell you, I really love the momentum of this show, and I'm going to tell you something right now. There's other podcasts out there, and there's one that I'm modeling this show after. We have already gotten more views and more watchers in the first 3 weeks of this show than a national fantasy football contest in Las Vegas that has a lot more owners than we do. And then Chuck is going out to Vegas. I am very proud of our SBFFC owners and supporters for tuning in the show every week. I didn't even promote the show this week, and I guarantee you there's probably more views and followers this week than was last 2 weeks. So the SBFFC Power Hour has already in the last 2 weeks has got more views and more watchers than the FFPC Fantasy Football Power Hour, which the FFPC is the largest fantasy football online operation in the Vegas League in the world. So the SBFFC is really I took a lot of advice from the FFPC started. The FFPC is a first-class organization, but the SBFFC is we're going to be noticed too, and we're going to keep on rising, and the momentum is rising like a freight train.
Well, that is going to do it for tonight. Tune in same time next week at 8 to 9 Central Standard Time. Special thanks to the TN2M network of shows for hosting us. Special thanks to TrophySmack.com, our sponsors for the night. For Brian, for Dr. Harwood, for Chuck, I'm Seth Burchett, and you've been listening to the Fantasy Football Power Hour presented by the SBFFC.